Hello and welcome to the Clockwork 42 channel. I'm Benjamin here. This is another classic review. Today, taking a look at some remnants from my old collection. These 12-inch figures, or 1/6 scale figures. Quite a few kit bashes. There's a couple store-bought figures in here too. And there's a few that are still in my storage, because as you can see, they take up a lot of space. We're backed up the station here, trying to get most of them in view. In the front and center, you see a custom Deadpool. He is made from a G.I. Joe Sigma 6 character. I think he was a Snake Eyes before all this. Let me give you another reference of scale. This Marvel Legend Shield Agent. Barely make him out there. So he's 6 inches. Way up here, it's about 12. But these were a lot of fun. There's a lot of options out there. When I started collecting these, my first figure was this guy, who's actually a Cobra soldier, or the 12-inch Cobra Trooper, and obviously he's been repurposed. I like the way his mask sculpted on his face, so he always felt like a ninja to me. And over time, I got additional pieces to transform him into what you see now, which is kind of boring. You know, at the time it was fun, but as my taste evolved, I mean, it's still kind of cool, but I see a lot of stuff that I could improve knowing what I know now. These guys, a lot of them have articulated hands, fingers, which is okay. A vertical hinge. Some have a single point of articulation in the elbow and knees. Some have double or 2 points. But I think the fun with the 12-inch figures was the ease of kit bashing, swapping parts, clothing, whatnot. What led me into collecting 12-inch figures was the articulation. Like the toys I grew up with as a kid in the 80s, they didn't have a whole lot going on. I mean, they were fun, don't get me wrong, but as I got older, I kind of got into stop motion, so I had this idea that that's something I'd like to do, and so I knew I needed a well-articulated figure to do that with. So that's why I got into 12-inch figures, and in the early 2000s, maybe for about 10 years or so, I worked on building these up. The last 12-inch figure I purchased was Captain America here, and I made some modifications to him. Got rid of the shoulder pads. I modified the shield. I struggled to disassemble it here, but I modified the shield to just stick on his back with a magnet. There we go. Yeah. You see he's a little bit dusty. He's been up on a shelf for a little while. Same with this Midori Washio. I'm butchering the name. This one's pretty cool. She's like an armored SWAT officer or something. Like, I don't know the character story, but I thought she was a really cool figure. The mix of cloth and plastic pieces. And I think that what kind of, or why I'm not interested in Mezco figures, because I've experienced cloth goods on action figures already. So it's like, I don't really get excited about it. They've had a couple figures that I've considered, but you know, I wasn't so into it that I had to have them. With these, a lot of removable magazines on their weapons, moving parts like slides on pistols. Not this one, but like maybe 9mm Glock style. And you can get them into some poses. The problem is that you need a nice sturdy stand if you're trying to do action stuff, or otherwise it's kneeling poses all day long. I know I'm off camera a little bit here. I'm not trying to do too much crazy stuff with these. Swap her out. Just kind of glossing over these, sharing my thoughts on what led me to them and why I'm moving on. What I wanted was a Venom figure, but because of Venom's proportions and, well, being Venom, it was extremely difficult to find a figure in this size of him. And if I did, I'm sure it would have been expensive. A little bonus for you. This whip, I made this. It's wax cord. I just made a simple braid and tied off the end. The handle is around here somewhere. Oh, it's in her hand. Duh. I commit action figure sacrilege. A rubber band because their hands they're like too loose, or they're meant for holding weapons. Whoop, drop the side. Get her hands on there. There we go. So they're meant to hold like larger weapons, and they do it well. And some of these, the female figures, have interchangeable hands. You see it's discolored because it's from a different figure, but it fudged in well enough. These swords actually came from this cyborg ninja figure back there. Get her out of the way. Another Sigma 6 ninja, or a Storm Shadow. I've got a couple of these in different styles. Shredder. I got those because I like the weapon sets that they came with. Figures were okay, kind of basic articulation, basic articulation and in a 7-inch scale. So as you can see, compared to these, they're way off. But these giant weapons kind of worked well with the larger figures. That's why I got a few of them. I got a Spirit over here too. I think that's Spirit. I could be wrong. One thing I recently discovered as I was getting ready to do this video is I have this baggie of little metal throwing stars. I got those for my ninja characters, and looking at them, it's like, I think that'll work in my 6-inch figures. So the articulated icons ninjas just got upgraded. Little tiny Super Mario. That's just there for scale. It's like a Lego, or he's not Lego, he's something else. Mega Blocks, or I don't know. This was really cool. And the price I paid for this at the time, it was like really, well, it was amazing. Like, I wouldn't expect to find something like this at the price I got it for. I want to say it was like around 60, but a lot of nice sculpted pieces on this. Uh, there's a Gatling gun. It's buried in the boxes behind these guys right now. I should have brought that out. Do a little bonus clip at the end. I'll find it. Gun could stick on his arm. These guys too had whoops, interchangeable hands. There's fists and weapon holding hands. He suffered some breakage. I'm sure I can fix that now. It's like a little ball joint that sticks in there, and it held the there's some kind of holder for the sheath on those swords I showed you a moment ago. I think. Always thought that was a cool feature. Maybe like a maintenance hatch or a weak spot. I don't know. The shoulder pads can come off. He's got a face under the mask. I'm not going to pull it off. But I'll show you the other one that I have. Try not to destroy the entire shelf. Again, another kit bash. The jacket came from a Punisher figure. It was based on the Tom Jane Punisher. But the feature that both of these figures had just a little light up, and it doesn't stay on. You have to hold the button down, so that makes it fun. And that came from some G.I. Joe Cobra Commander, the one from the movie. But it's an idea of what their faces look like. And this guy has, yeah, he has like a really long ponytail that comes down, but tucked away in behind the jacket, of course. Yeah. Ponytail. Ball peg to attach the sword. The armor pieces and the clothing that he had got repurposed for other figures. And while these are cool, they're, well, I don't know. I guess I don't have any complaints. I mean, these ones are probably the most well balanced out of all of these, simply because of the molded shoes. The feet there, nice wide base. Whoop, leg pops off too. This guy, the fun little kit bash, like a World War II post-apocalyptic zombie slayer something. But I like the trench coat. I found this old vest, and when I stuck it on him over the trench coat, I just kind of stuck with it. Like, that's who you are now, soldier. With a cigarette in his mouth. And it's just a toothpick. I just shaved it and put a little hole in the side of his mouth. I thought he was cool with the beard stubble. The old pilot goggles and the helmet. Slide this down there. And this wasn't made for this. I just did that so he had something to carry his pickaxe. Old carbine rifle. And this one is one of the more well articulated figures. The 2 points articulation in the elbow and the knees. And it's really hit and miss when it comes to shoe options with the figures you get. This is one of the better ones, having painted and sculpted detail. See, that's pretty cool. Nice little, whoops. It's cool until he loses the pose, but little smoke and pose. Smoke him if you got him, Jenny. Now that I'm messing with them on camera, like I'm kind of feeling the fun again. I'm pretty much dropped out of it. Like cool ones now, like Hot Toys, Sideshow, they're great, but I know or I have an idea of how these things balance, how they move, so I don't feel like I need to explore that. And again, it takes up a lot of room. Kit Bash Boba Fett. This was a Hasbro 12-inch figure, but the body they used was like the worst action figure body. Well, almost the worst. It had more than 5 points, so there's that. But this was pretty cool. I took and put a wire in his cloak here, or the little side cape, but it's all coming apart. The actual armor was kit bashed. I made it the way it is now because it was too bulky and it did not allow for adequate articulation. So, well, the figure was poorly articulated. I said that. But what I did was remove all the armor and clothing and, and drop it. That thing barely stays on. That's always been an issue. But put the clothing and armor on a more articulated figure, and he's been more fun. I didn't like his shoes, so I found these boots, put them on. Kind of works. I still have the knee pads, but they need to be repaired. The elastic is worn out. They don't sit right. And because he sits in storage, I'm not too concerned about fixing it. I might get back to him one day, but just not feeling it. We have a beachhead figure. And this was an official to cover the camera. It's got the G.I. Joe logos. Official beachhead figure in 12-inch. So put some extra parts on them. I like the goggles. I don't know why. Vest, shotgun, sidearm from who was that? 21st Century Toys, maybe. Not the greatest looking figure, but it was fun at the time. You ask your mom for Solid Snake, and you have Solid Snake at home. The Imperial Snake. This came from a Star Wars figure, but I like the gray jumpsuit. And again, I used another super articulated, or not super articulated, but highly articulated body to be my Solid Snake. The hair on this head sculpt just kind of worked. Got the Claymore. It's got a little SOCOM pistol, or that's what it's going for, like from the Metal Gear Solid video game. Pistol, laser pointer. Got him a sniper rifle, rocket launcher, RPG. It's kind of neat because the gloves, it's like a slip-on mitten kind of thing. So it allows the fingers to still articulate, hold weapons, point. Oh, I don't know what kind of weapon that is. Radio, a little pouch. That's just little elastic straps I glued together and made loops. Just get a little bit more detail on the figure. You can pose pretty well, but again, they're not very well balanced because of the loose shoe over the foot. Rambo, like he's showing up in the business suit because he means business. It's over under shotgun, drum barreled machine gun, whatever. I don't know firearms. But I thought this looked cool. We strapped him with grenades. He's got the rope. He's got the K-bar knife. Again, the shoes, or the boots, I mean. Nice paint and sculpted detail. He's got a sidearm as well. Again, don't want to mess with him too much. Another removable magazine. The drum comes off this as well. Comes off too easy sometimes. A simple little headband. And the guy has this body. He came bare chested, and he got some light airbrush work going on. Make him dirty or camouflage. This has been fun. I bought one of these out of curiosity. It can't pose for crap, but Mokujin, one of my dolls, call them dolls. Her hair is all, she's got bed hair from being in storage. Glasses. Guess she was kind of like a stand-in Baroness, but I didn't have a lot of pieces to detail her with. But I do like how I got the belt to hang off her hip like that, kind of asymmetrical. She has a holster. I got rid of that pistol. She still has one of them there. And yeah, she is one of the better ones with nice articulation. Bodysuit on this is nice. It's like a nice, soft, flexible material. Doesn't show a lot of signs of wear because I haven't used her in too many extreme posing. This little cloak, I forget where that came from. The zipper is functional. The boots are kind of cool. And again, with these, the feet are swappable. So they can have bare feet, or you can change boots with other figures of the same line. Girl, Cool Girl. She can stand okay. And then I got my Punisher Enthusiast. Okay, let go. Oh, it's wrapped around his body. And the shirt came from that Punisher figure I mentioned earlier. Pants as well. Side holster. It's got a few, like a giant pistol. It's more there for aesthetic than function. Knife on the inside of the coat. And what I like about this coat, there's no wire, but it does have some sort of, well, it's a little bit rigid, so you can get a little bit of blown in the wind. And like all the GI Joes from this line had that scar on the cheek. It's like they're like a cult. Little blemish on the face there. Felt deteriorating. And that's what was fun with these two. Just having all these interchangeable clothing pieces that you can mix and match. But I'm over it. Now, what I was saying earlier is that I wanted a Venom figure in this scale, and there there seemed to be none available. Well, at the time, there were none available. It's an old Jack-specific wrestling figure. So I found a Venom figure. Whoops. While I was looking, I was browsing for that Venom figure I always wanted. I stumbled across a YouTube review for the Marvel Legends Venom, and I watch it, and I'm like, huh, they're pretty well articulated nowadays, aren't they? So coupled with the sculpt of the body, the overall aesthetic of the figure, and having the fortune of finding the video when these were still in stores, it all worked out. And this was my gateway figure, I guess. I have a couple older Toy Biz figures that I just happened to pick up, but it wasn't until I got Venom that I decided to go all in with the smaller scale. Like I said, I was over cloth goods. I wanted the figure that I wanted, and I got it and saw how well that these are made compared to what I had as a child. That was really appealing, and I just kept going. And I already showed you the last 12-inch figure I have. So why don't I show you one of the favorite 12-inch figures that I have. And currently she's a box baby because I'm gonna keep her safe. One of my favorite characters, Major Kusanagi, Motoko. Motoko. I'm butchering the pronunciation. Just call her the Major. She's got extra hands, a couple weapons, like in the gray bodysuit. It's a really cool figure. And the stitching is mostly hidden. Like it doesn't really stand out and look like oversized stitches as most figures do. I think one day I will do a classic review and take her out of the box, show you what she's got going on. Hell, I may do that next. Like I said, putting my hands on these things again has kind of rekindled that interest, but not enough that I'm gonna go out and start adding to this collection. Like I even have a few vehicles. That's right, 6-inch scale vehicles, and they are huge. Like one truck will take up the majority of the desktop right here. You'll see those one day, more classic review stuff. It's kind of fun to look back. I was inspired to do this after watching another YouTuber. The words he said were, remember where you came from and to be humble. And that's pretty much what I'm doing here. My humble beginnings in collecting. In closing, you don't have to restrict yourself, or if you have been restricting yourself to a certain line or scale, and if you're not feeling it anymore, it's okay to jump ship. Try something new. These are still fun, but they don't captivate my interest as well as the current products I have. So that's why I've been selling stuff off, going through, downsizing, and making room for other stuff. I know this has ran kind of long, but there's a lot to go over here, and that's why I didn't want to dive in too deep with each one of these. Just kind of show you or showcase some pieces from my collection. Thanks for tuning in, checking this out. I will be back soon. Y'all take care.